Get it up. Should work. There we go. We're in. Copy. Link. Give me 1 second here. Going live. Nice little bounce off that bottom. I'm looking for the put side here. I think that we still test that low from earlier. Can hear you. Cannot. Should be able to. I'm looking at it right now. It should be good. I like this bounce off this bottom right here. So we kind of have a double bottom here, it looks like, but this is actually the low of the day. So I think that this might just be a little bit of a bounce consolidation level before we see another low. I don't know if I'm going to go in on these too heavy. I might even just look at like the SPX 3810s to keep it cheap. 290 a pop. I probably would have a stop loss like 70 bucks. I did a little bit of trading earlier, up 417 on the day. Mostly Meta. Meta is obviously, everybody's been watching me watch that for so damn long now, and it hit that 196 mark. I still think it has some room from this weekly chart. Made an absolute bag off this. This week, I was looking for this trend. I think everybody's watched me draw this a million times by now, but this was the flag I was watching. Waited for this breakout, got the breakout, then I was waiting for this downtrend, and then this 177 level I told you I was scaling in at, got in, swung it for a couple days, and it absolutely gapped up. So looks really good here. I think it could still get that 197 break potentially, but pretty much exhausted. I'm out on all swings here, so migrated to day trading. Weekly chart on the SPY looks really good for the downside as well, and I think that we're looking at a pretty good opportunity for the downside over here. So this is the 30-minute chart. I'll switch to 15-minute real quick just to confirm. Looks pretty good on the downside. We might get a little bit of a bounce, but I'm expecting these Bollinger Bands to probably start holding down a little bit, start pushing itself down, and we could get this low 383.50 test. That's my goal. I'm pretty much at my goal right now, so I'm probably not going to trade too much longer. I'll just come in live to entertain the folks. So I'm looking at one opportunity right here, potentially this next test back up to 385.50. Hopefully we can get it again. This will be my my entry point for some put contracts. If it has some strength, I probably will stay away from it. But this is my target for puts. This is where I will have a full-on take profit zone, and then this is where I really have the yellow light set to see if we can break down. So these are my 3 levels right here. I'll zoom in on them so it's a lot easier to see. The 1-minute chart usually is up here. This is the SPX. It's kind of breaking down right now, so I would like to see a little bit of a bounce potentially. And I don't think I'm going to get it. I think I might have missed the entry on these. Let's look at these 3810s. They are at 264. It looks pretty good to start coming down. I think that this is going to be the start of an all-day sell-off. I really do think, if we look at the daily chart, I really do think that we might be able to test this 380, because that's where we bounced a couple days ago. I don't know if it has enough strength to get to that point, but it might get damn near close to around that 382. So I still see a lot of downside to come. As you can see, these Bollinger Bands are expanding a little bit. It's been an easy trading day if you had some patience and bought not the same day expirations. These couple of rejection scalps would have been huge. I got this one. I missed this one. There was another one I caught earlier. It was this one, I believe. And then maybe the bounce, I forget. But now I'm looking for the downside. I know we've been in this range forever, but you can't stay in a range forever and have all these tests. I don't think it's just going to seesaw back and forth. I think with this expanding, it's just getting its momentum to start heading down to the downside. But I don't want to chase it near this bottom because SPX is obviously crazy. I could chase the SPY, though, because SPYs for next week or tomorrow would probably be way better of an opportunity. I wonder how much these SPY same days are. Same days are really cheap. I don't like to play same days unless it's the SPX because I'm in and out of that. But next week, or tomorrow, why do I keep saying that? Tomorrow expiration of 382 could be pretty good. I might play the 383s just because intrinsic value is always better. So I would love to see a little bit of a green candle here. Maybe we can get up to this 385.40. That'd be pretty cool. Getting a nice little spike here. So it's been really choppy today. SPX probably not the best opportunity out there. I also don't know if I really want to play the SPY. I feel like it's not going to move as much. Might make like 40 bucks, and I'd have to risk probably 10 contracts here to make $400, and sounds good and all, but I don't know if I'm interested in that. I think I want to make a little bit more. So if I'm going to risk that much money to make $400, I might as well play the SPX, have a small stop loss on the downside with a lot less at risk. So, and it could be a lot faster because I got some things I got to take care of today. So I'll just play the SPX for now. Hopefully we can get a little pop up. I would love to get this back down to like 270, maybe buy like 2 or 3 contracts, let it run $300-400. That would be really cool. That's the goal here. This little reversal candle on the 1 minute on the SPX doesn't really mean anything, but I would like to see this jump up to about this 385.50 mark. So I'm going to draw this little downtrend from here, trying to break out of it. So that's interesting. The Bollinger Bands are starting to go sideways too. So maybe this does go back towards that VWAP level. So we'll see what happens in the next few minutes here. I'll pay attention to the time and sales data over here, the VWAP, whatever we got going on. Usually if you bounce like this, here's a little hammer candle. If it rejects this and then it starts bouncing, it's a pretty good reversal sign. But I still think that we're weak. These are getting cheaper. I'm loading up these 3810s. I would love to buy them under 250 if possible. It's been a really slow day. So I've been in and out. So like today, on days like this, you need to be in, you need to be right out, and do not hold because a theta decay will destroy you. One stock everybody should be watching is this Coinbase stock. This thing just moves all the time. Look how volatile this thing is lately. Massive moves from 69 down to 62. One day went from 50 to 60. Yesterday it fell from 65 to 61. And then today even had another big rip from 60 to 65. So those $5 moves, they add up like crazy. So just keep that on watch. Still watching SPY here. Would love to see it jump up. I don't know if we're going to get it. You can see this Bollinger Band start to expand a little bit. It might be a double bottom at this level, this yellow mark. So best case scenario here, we get a couple green candles, can get these a little bit cheaper. I would start to take profit around this yellow point and maybe hold one runner for that green test. But it looks like I might have missed the entry. And on SPX, everybody knows you need to have the perfect entry or you're going to get stopped out. Doesn't destroy their account with a lower delta. Would you recommend that? Are you a beginner trader? I would say there's a lot of ways you can stay away from theta. Honestly, if you want to even buy shares, I don't know if a beginner trader, you have a smaller account, but buying shares can also help you out as well. Just like kind of understanding the movements. You could do SPY a couple days out that are super cheap. SPX I do not recommend as a beginner trader. So if you're watching this, you can always tail the SPX with the SPY because I watch the SPY chart to trade the SPX, as a lot of people do, because there's just not a lot of data on the SPX. But damn, this thing is running right now, 264 to 420. This thing could go up above $600 pretty easily. So it's about to hit this double bottom real quick. I would recommend to buy further out contracts so the wrong move doesn't destroy your account for sure. But I think that I would focus on chart pattern setups and understanding candlestick formations, volume, all that stuff. I would look at the charts before I would start talking about what contracts to buy, because just because you're buying further out contracts doesn't mean you're not going to blow up your account. You need to understand like when are the best entry points, when are the best exit points, and then a risk management plan. So we talk about risk management here. If I were to go in here at 410, I have $400 at risk. If I'm only going to risk 10% on my trade, let's say I buy one, I'm going to set my stop loss down here at 360 or 370 because it's only a $40 loss. It is SPX, so could be really quick in and out for me. Could be stopped out real fast. That's why entry and exit points are so crucial. But SPY, in terms of SPY, I would more so recommend for a slower move with your entry and exit points, a day or two out expiration. Much further out, you're not going to get as big of a payout. So I would say 1 to 2 day expirations on the SPY is a pretty good risk-averse move, in my opinion, if you were to scale in. So most of the time I like reversal trades. Like as of right now, I might play a bounce for this double bottom here, but I do see a lot of weakness coming in here. I see the volume starting to pick up. I think that they're going to drop this down to this pre-market low. If we were touching this pre-market low, maybe I would look for a bounce or calls. But as of right now, this setup looks like it's ready to go. This one earlier did not, just because it did make its new high and then it bounced like crazy. Now that we're retesting this with weakness, with the way that the economy is going, and that there's a pre-market level at 383, and I think it's going to 380, I think that these are going to run. As you can see, these contracts, I probably should have bought them at that level, but I missed that entry point. But it went from 250 to 452, so that's $200 in what, 5-7 minutes? It's crazy. It's crazy, the opportunity. And of course, man, I feel like just waiting for the best entry and exit point is the best. And I know you're never going to time the market perfectly, but there are ways to mitigate your risk to reward by looking at your R multiple, and R multiple meaning like what your risk to reward ratio is. So if you're going to put $1,000 in, if your max potential profit is $900 or $1,000, you can make 1,000% or 100%, versus your stop loss sitting at only $100. Your risk to reward ratio there is 100 to 1,000. So it's about a 10R. Most of the time I like to look around like a 2 to 3 to 4R. So if I'm risking, let's say $1,000 trade, I'll set a stop loss at 120, 125. If on the opposite side I can make $400 or $500, that's a 4R, 5R multiple, and you can basically stop yourself out. You have to be wrong 4 times in a row before you can make, a break-even profit. So the odds of you being wrong 4 times in a row is pretty tough unless you're a really bad trader. So if you can get 1 out of 5 trades to be right and you're break even, easy money. So trading is not easy. There's a lot of waiting, 99% waiting. So it's hard to make trading streams very, very useful. I think you're right. We keep going down. Oh, yeah. Jim Cramer, I saw him. I used to work right next to that. I will say that he is a genius. I used to work right next to him. I used to talk to him often. And he is like, you could throw at a stock that doesn't mean anything out of nowhere, and he could tell you where the headquarters is. He could tell you like the management team, who runs it, when they went public. He knows his shit. He just, for some reason, every time he tweets or says something, it just goes the completely opposite way. I don't know if he's doing that on purpose or what, but I know he's made a shit ton of money. Not a lot of people know this, but he actually used to run a hedge fund, and it was like one of the most profitable hedge funds in the history of hedge funds before he started CNBC. Jim Cramer. He's like 5'7". I think he's like 5'5". Still think we head down to this green line. This green line, maybe I'll end up taking calls at that point around that 383, but I do think that we're going to break below this low of the day. I usually would take calls at this point, but it's just so damn weak. When you see these large upper shadows and it's breaking these lower lows, and we're at the bottom low of the day with these Bollinger Bands expanding, we could see that green bounce, which we're seeing right now, but I don't think that it holds. I think we test that low from pre-market. How to manipulate stocks, saying he did it when he had a hedge fund. Yeah, I think, yeah. I honestly think he's like outsmarting the public. I think he's actually doing really well, but I don't know. The man is a genius. I will say that. I used to talk to him every day for like, I don't know, how long was I on the floor? About a year and a half. He knows his shit, that's for sure. All right, we're getting that bounce at low of the day. Looks like a double bottom here. We did test that low. I don't know if it's going to hold to reverse. It's a good point. If we get above this 385.23, maybe I'll look for one of these quick puts just to make a couple $100. Like I said, I'm still at 417 on the day. Nothing huge. It's been a really choppy day, just so everybody knows. Not an easy day to make money, so we're still waiting. This is a pretty bullish sign. I'm sure we'll see a little red candle here and then a pop, but yeah, I don't know. I think maybe it would be a good idea to take some calls at this level. I'm waiting for this bear flag setup. Let's see. Probably just broke out of that downtrend. It definitely did. SPY 1 minute, also same thing. So we're getting that push up. We're down to $3, $2.92. We could get this $2.50 fill, which would be pretty dope. right up here. Now the Bollinger Bands are expanding a little bit. Let me get rid of this line so I can see it. Interesting. I usually hate to trade this middle zone. I like to trade the reversals, but I just had a strong feeling we were going to retest this low of the day. Not low of the day, but pre-market low level, which I still think is a possibility. I think this just might be some consolidation. Would love to see that 385.50 though. Down to 295. These are just 450. So you can tell how volatile these are. If you're on the wrong side of these, you get blown up. So SPX, if you're not comfortable playing SPX, play the SPY. Give yourself a day or two. Don't buy same-day expirations. Theta decay is brutal. But you'll notice when I'm in and out of these, wow, this thing is kind of spiking. I don't really want to buy into this momentum, but I do like that 380. This mark right here would be my entry point. All right, guys, I'm going to put in a 225 limit fill. Just one, just because I feel like this has the momentum to really spike. I usually hate to play this dead man zone, but I still think we have a lot of room down. So I put my limit fill a lot lower at 225. Let's see if it fills me. Just one contract, because I feel like the risk at this level is pretty tough. See if we can get down there. Tons of buy pressure. Never buy these types of candles at the top like that. There she goes. It's probably going to fill me at 225 here in a second. Hopefully at least. All right, I'm in one at 225, but this is why I keep my risk really small. So I'm only in one contract, but this thing could still pay, you know, 200, 300 bucks if we start to reverse. I don't know if we're going to, but I don't want to buy more than one just because I hate this level. I hate trading in the middle, so this is really kind of uncharacteristic, but I am going to set my stop loss of only $25 risk. And on the other side, I couldn't be making, you know, $200 a contract here. So what is that, a 8R? I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm getting sick, I think. But anyways, I have a $25 risk here, so nothing. That's literally $0, right? So I'm managing my risk on the downside because this is really bullish, super small risk. And now that it's in the money, I could probably push it up to only have like a $15 risk. I got a pretty good entry point, and it's up to 260. But if this starts to reverse, which I don't know if it's going to, but this 1 minute chart right here is showing a shooting star candlestick, which I usually love, and that usually shows more downside weakness. So unless there's a bounce level at this price, we're up pretty nicely. We're up only on one contract. It's not going to do anything, but just for the sake of education here, now I can move my stop loss up to break even, and there's no risk on this trade. So now I entered 225 for basically free, and now I could put my stop loss at 240, and now I could basically just let this trade ride all day. And yeah, if it stops me out, only 15 bucks. But on days where SPX just completely dies, which I think today could be one of those days, I don't know if it's going to be right now. I think that there's still some bullish momentum off that bottom. But now I have no risk. So if you're trading a small account, this is a really good opportunity to start to scale yourself up with little amount of risk. Because one of these days when you're moving your stop loss up, you don't have to have a ton of risk on the downside. So that $225 trade is not a lot of money. But on a $25 stop loss, that's even less money to be at risk. So if I have a $25 stop loss, $225 at risk, but could potentially be making $200, $300 on a complete reversal here, that's a really good trade. The risk to reward ratio is really massive there. So it's really not about timing the stock market. It is in some sense, but it's also about managing your risk and figuring out where the best risk to reward ratios are. So there is a lot of bullish momentum here. I can see how this could potentially stop me out, but even if it does stop me out, even if it blows right through it, it's zero risk on my end because I bought them at 225, my stop's at 240, and it's trading at 270 right now, so I'm not up very much money on this one contract at all, up 67, but I'm up 30% on the trade. If you put size behind this, you buy 10 of those, this would be 800 bucks. You know, it's $80 right now. And we can see here, if this starts to plummet back down, this Bollinger Band is still really weak. So even this one contract, if it doesn't spike back up, which it still might, I'm not saying it's not, this is how you risk manage. So if I stop, now that it's up even more, I could move the stop loss up to 245 or 250 and lock in 25 bucks, which is probably going to stop me right here. But hopefully people are understanding like the way you can play with a good amount of money, whether it's $225 like this trade was, or $2,225, or $4,000. And now that it's spiking up and I'm starting to see these little these upper shadow wicks, unless this gets above this red line again, this could plummet. This could be a really good opportunity for me to add into these contracts. I don't think I'm going to, just because I hate this middle zone always, but you never know which way this is going to go. But my bias is telling me it's going to head back down to this level. And if it does go back to this level, if it doesn't stop me out, this could be a $1,000 trade off of $225. That's how great the SPX is. It's really tough to trade it a lot of the time, so that's why I say if you're a beginner, use the SPY. But on the SPX, this little bear flag formation, this upper shadow and this upper shadow, this could potentially make me a couple $100 a contract just by playing $225. I'm still looking at this bear flag. The Bollinger Band's on a downtrend. The SPY looks like it's rejecting that level. So if we come back to retest this low of the day off that double bottom bounce, we're going lower. I'm not up a ton. I'm not going to make a ton of money off this trade, but just want to show some education on how I trade, how you can minimize your risk. And now that it's going against me or going in my way, I can still keep locking in money here. So now I'm going to get stopped out at 260 if it starts to bounce. And I have no risk. There's $35 on this trade max that I'll lock in. I'm up 85, which is 37% on the trade, 44%. And if it starts to really fade off and go to low of the day, I'll make a shit ton of money off of one trade for $225, but now I have zero risk. So I'm all in on that. I'll keep pushing this up. I'll push it up to 265. So my max loss on this is a $40 gain now. And now I can just sit here freely and hope to God it crashes. Usually if I have 5 to 10 contracts, I feel even better about that, because 5 contracts on a $40 lock-in would be about $200 no matter what. But if it keeps tanking, that's thousands of dollars. So same thing with the SPY, same thing with NVIDIA, same thing with Meta, whatever you want to put in. Massive opportunities. Just risk management is literally everything, because people get stopped out all the time. But when you start moving your stop loss down to lose more money, that's when you're messing up. This is the best way to trade, in my opinion. I'm sure you have other strategies. There's millions of strategies out there. But if you look now, up $110 and 50% on a trade, I could take that if I wanted to. But instead, I'm just going to mitigate my loss, or just keep locking in higher gains at 275. So if there's any other bounce, it'll stop me out. But at this way, if it does tank like I think it's going to, it won't. I won't miss out on a lot of profits. But at least I'm locking in $50 here regardless. I'll even push it up to 280, just for fun. See if we can break down a low of the day. If we turn $225 into, let's say, a $700 sell, that would be pretty dope. That's 200% on a trade. I really think this is possible. I would put more size behind it, but I just don't want to give back a lot of gains. I'm up 527 on the day. It's usually my goal, 500 to 1,000 on the day. So just kind of chilling at this level. There we go. There's the drop, baby. Let's keep going. Now I'm going to move my stop loss up. I think we're going to low of the day here. I think we're going to break down well below low of the day. So we're at 350. Let's see how much this one contract paid me. One contract is paying right now. Up 140, 62, 155. It's just one contract. This is why the SPX is the best in my opinion, because if you can time it, you can make a ton of money off this. So hopefully we don't bounce at low of the day and it stops me out at 3, because I think that these could really run to like 600, 700 a piece. I'm going to put my stop at 310 here. Might stop me because it might bounce at that level, but that's okay with me. Still a pretty good trade. That's how you risk manage, and you don't stop out right away. I just keep moving my stop loss up. So now I locked in about $80, $85 off of a 225 risk. Easy money. I trades this morning. Had some SPX trades, SPY, and I had Meta trade as well, small trades. It's probably going to stop me out here off a little bit of a bounce, but that's okay. Still think this is going a low of the day. So if you're rocking with the put side and you have a couple day expiration, you're not trading the SPX. The SPX is obviously way more volatile. But if this starts coming down, we will see this 383. I think it's going to stop me out right here, and I'll lock in like $75. But that is A-okay with me. Zero risk whatsoever. Obviously, I would love for it to break down right here and make a couple extra $100, but I have zero risk involved. And by experience, I can tell you we are most likely going to low of the day. The volume is pretty low, but we're getting a ton of transactions, so there's going to be a real big move here. So it needs to be a big-ass buyer to come in to sweep up the book, which I don't see just yet on the time and sales. So most likely we will be heading to break that low of the day mark here and tap that 384 at least. So it's at 380 now. How much did I make off one trade? 150 still. Nothing to write home about. I will write home about 100% trade though, and I'm not going to be mad at myself for not taking. There we go. Here we go. Let's push this up now. Pushing this up to 360. We're at 410, almost up 100% on the trade. We're at 415. This is lagging a little bit. If it bounces, I'll be pissed because I can't move it up. I'm going to put this at 380. Might bounce here at this level. Might get a little bit of a bounce. Yeah, there we go. I'll get stopped out here. Boom. Took me out 380, so I just made $160 on that one trade. So now I'm at 572 on the day. If I had more size, I'd be a little bit more excited, but for the educational purposes here, risk management is everything. What day expiration? Same day expiration. Hopefully that made sense. Hopefully that crushed it. Hey, why don't you consider futures? I mean, I do consider futures. I think that futures could be great. There's no theta decay. I don't know. I'm just a good options trader, and I think SPX, even with theta, it is pretty tough, but I'm just gotten to a point where I can basically just get in and out with no risk if it goes in my way. So that's really kind of it. But I sold that 380. I still think it's going down lower, but when it goes your way, just in case there's any bounces, I just continually move my stop loss up. Hopefully that makes sense. But did you not get theta with that trade, even that 10 minutes theta? Yeah, you did, for sure. But I mean, I made $160 off of a $225 trade. So I made about an 80-some% investment, or return on investment, just based off of my entry point. So this was my entry point right here. I got in at 225, and it thankfully rejected, and now we're starting to head towards that low of the day again. The Bollinger Band's still expanding. We're weak on the 15-minute chart and the 30-minute chart, so you got to zoom out a little bit. But as it retests this low of the day mark, that's when I had this yellow, so that's where you consider taking profits in case there's any bounce, because that's a supply zone of people to, or demand zones for people to start buying again, because you see one bounce, one bounce, one bounce, and now you might see a little bit of buyers here. So it's going to take a pretty massive seller because there's a big buy block sitting right at that level. So at that point, until sellers come in and take all those orders and sweep it down, then we won't see that 383. So that's when I take these levels of a bear flag right here or a nice little spike up, and I see this rejection candle. You know, I'm looking for that re-breakdown. I have all these levels set from pre-market, from the daily chart, the weekly chart. So I have all these pre-levels set. So on top of all the volume and everything with the way it's going down, I usually would take profit right here. If I had more than one, I'd probably, let's say I bought 5 contracts, I'd probably sell 4 at this level and let 1 run. Just because it is possible for it to bounce. As you notice, now it's down to 340, so I saved myself $40 on 10 contracts. That's 400, 5 contracts, 200. So it's all a money. It's all like a stock trading isn't a dollar game. I don't really know how to describe it. It really is a risk management game. You kind of have to just continually look at it as if they're going to rob you, right? So I always take money off the table no matter what size I'm taking. You know, swing trades, I'll put in a lot more size. I usually don't trade a lot. I don't really put a ton of size on the day trading side of things unless I see a perfect setup. Like Meta, I saw this weekly chart that I was just talking about, and I mean, I put $20,000 behind this trade. So this was a big trade that I saw, but it was a swing trade. It was for a couple weeks out, and I had the opportunity because I love this bull flag. And then when we gapped down to that 176 level, I knew that there was room to run because the market was oversold, buyers were coming in, and Meta was leading the way. So as soon as I saw that spike from 174 to 177, I knew that the buyers were there and they were ready to take this up. So on that gap up on Monday and Tuesday, you know, I made a ton of money this week just off of swinging these trades, but I don't put that kind of size behind something unless it's a perfect setup. So I had my stop loss in. I knew what I was willing to lose at the end of that trade, but in terms of a day trading side, I don't really put too much size behind trades unless I see like insane setups. And in terms of insane setups, I wait for something like the SPY on the daily chart the other day. I actually ended up catching this from this 401. I saw that this could bearish engulf. I did not think it was going to go all the way to 391, but I thought we were going to break down to like that 395 range. So bought some puts up here with some good size and just waited it out. But I don't really see too many day trades with a good opportunity like that very often. As you can see here, it's bouncing at that level, so these contracts are now down to 280. Seems to be pretty strong at this level. I still think we're going to break below it, though. I might actually re-enter. See what this guy's talking about. This little downtrend situation right here, it's trying to break out right now. Let me switch this to the SPY. A little double bottom action over here in the 1 minute. Notice how it's rejected, testing. Could be an opportunity for a bounce play. If you're playing calls, I wouldn't be upset about that. I don't think that that's a bad idea since we're having so many buyers down here at this low of the day level. I'm going to extend this to the right. I'm going to extend this to the left. At this point, this level now that it rejected before would be my stop loss area. So if I were to buy puts right now at this 385 level, 385.50 would be my stop loss. So maybe I will buy one more of these at 290. It's probably a stupid idea because I would get stopped out pretty quick. How much am I up on the day? 570. I want to stay up on 500, so I'd probably put a $60 stop loss. If I got in here, I'd put my stop loss at 2. It looks pretty bullish, guys. I don't know. This it's trying to break out of this pretty nicely here. I might try one at 275. If it fills me, I'll put my stop loss at like 225 for a $50 loss. It doesn't want me in. Maybe that's a sign. It's a sign to cancel that. I'll take one more trade. I got some stuff to do right here around 1 o'clock, so I got one more trade in me for you. See if we can make some money together. I do like the futures, no theta decay, but you need a margin account to trade futures. So if you're trading futures, it's better to have over 25K in your account because you can trade the PDT rule. The PDT rule obviously being the $25,000 in your account. So if you need that $25,000 threshold, I don't know if I would open up a margin account. I think cash accounts are best until you're above that rule. And even if you're above that rule, I think cash accounts are the best unless you trade futures, obviously. Or you're investing with a lot of money for shares. What is the SPX at right now? That's a great question because these might be too far out of the money to play. We're at 3,850. $40 is quite a bit. If this starts reversing and starts going towards that VWAP level, which it might. All right, I'm going to try and get in at 275 one more time. I'm going to set my stop loss at maybe 40 for like a $35 loss. See if it executes me. I'm in. Probably going to get me out right away here. It seemed to catch some buyers at this level. Oh, yeah, it's going to stop me out right away. But stop loss, guys. 230. So I have 45 at risk here. Make that 40. Just broke this on the 1 minute chart, so it's probably got some steam to head up. This is really bullish, so wouldn't be surprised to see this squeeze up to VWAP level. And I have a $40 risk right now. I might move this up just one more candle. $35 risk. Keep stop losses small, gains higher. Oh shit, it's rejecting. That was cool. Most of the time when you break out of these downtrends, though, you see a retest and then a jump, but Let's see what we got in us. I would love to see that low of the day mark. I don't know if we're going to get it, though. I'm going to keep pushing this up just for minimizing losses. $30 at risk here. Make that 25. That'll basically be nothing. But I'm up a little bit on this trade already, 25 bucks. It's nothing but small trades, some education on this bad boy. 10% on the trade. Oh, we're starting to catch some weakness here. That was a good, holy shit, okay. Okay, I think we might be breaking down low of the day, guys. That was a perfect entry point. 275 was literally perfect. We're up 360 now. We're up 90 bucks on the trade. A contract. Looks like we're breaking that low. I'm gonna put this up to 290. If I make 20 bucks a contract, that's fine. But it looks like on the fourth test here, we have to get some weakness to break below this. Still waiting for that 383 here. I think this could be a really great trade. Maybe I'll buy an extra one here. Nah, I'm probably just gonna keep it. I'm gonna lock in my 25. If it stops me out, it stops me out. But I hate to see this bounce again. If it bounces and then starts screaming up, I've seen that happen a million times. I'm not gonna get caught in that. So here we are. $25 lock in here. So at least there's no risk once again. I'm up 50 on the trade, but it could stop me out pretty easily. A lot of sellers in here. Would love to see more of a breakdown. Starting to get to that point. I'm going to push this up to 320. Lock in 45. Is there much theta with next day expirations? I mean, there's theta every time. I'll explain that in 1 second. Let me get out of this trade. If there's a bounce, that would suck. Come on, break below, baby. Give me one more massive red candle down to this 384. Let me make $300 on one contract here. That'd be dope. I'm up 32%, 662 on the day. We're getting really bullish or bearish engulfing down here. These could really sprint out here. I'm going to go up to 350, lock in 75 bucks. Probably going to get stopped out here unless it really plunges. But it's really struggling this level, which is why I'm setting my stop loss there. So if it bounces, then that sucks ass. But I'd love to see this break below the low of the day. Let's see a new low of the day. It needs to be below 384.25. See it on the time and sales here. 34. Okay, we're 9 cents away. Let's see if we can get down there. 37. 38. That's stuck. There's buyers there still. So still got my $75 locked in. So if it sees a little bounce here, I'll get stopped. But 75 bucks. 75 I didn't have. And see how fast these gains add up? It's 682 now. Easy money. We're getting there. 337. Let me see a 32. Let me see a below 30. Come on. Some sellers coming in. There's a big, big sell order right at this 384.30. All right, we broke it. Sellers, we're down here. We're down there. We're at low of the day. I'm swooping this up to 360 here. We're almost at low of the day. Still some buyers. Looks like it's trying to bounce again. It's probably going to stop me out. Damn. Got me at 360. But still caught that drop. So 657 on the day so far. Not bad. I still think it's going to low, but I wasn't playing with the downside, especially on the SPX. If you're in the SPY, you have next days or next weeks. I feel like those are beautiful looking right now. Timeout. There it is. I was wondering why the hell this looks so off. 30-minute definitely going to try to break down below that, but there is a huge buyer at this 384.29 mark. They're just sitting right there. Keeps getting bought up. There needs to be a real big seller to come in and break that. You can see this is starting to squeeze up a little bit again. So I'm sure that this will break down. It's just going to take a little bit of time. But so far we made, just sitting here, off 2 contracts. Oh yeah, here it comes. They're trying for it right now. 30. I'm not even in on this, but I'm still excited to watch this because I think this is going to be a massive red candle. 28, 27, they got it. Oh, no, they didn't again. Damn, man, that's buyer is so, there must be a massive buyer there. 31. Oh, yeah, they're going to get it this time. 27, 26. Oh, yeah, they got it. Let it push down, 28. transacting. There's 25. Yeah, here it goes. 24. They got it. They got the black. There it is. There's the buyer finally. The buyer finally broke 384.13. These are at 430 now. You'll always see these candlestick bounces a little bit because there's going to be resting orders below that big buy block, but I don't think it'll hold. I think you'll see a little squeeze down towards this green line. Maybe not right away, but it should break below that 384 here in 1 second, or at least bounce on it. Easy money. Easy money. Every time frame looks bearish. Yes, sir. All right, 384.12. They got it finally. It's up to 440. What did I sell? 360. I'm a pussy. Now it's down to 3. Wow. Damn. That is crazy. There's 460. We got it at 225. Crazy. So now it bounced right at that 384 level. Right now, I'd probably be taking profit. I'd move my stop loss up to where it's at. But we will probably test that 383.40, so it's about 50, 60 cents down below. There is a small chance we close around 380 level, but I'm at my zone here. I'm at 657. That's usually my profit. Yesterday I ended up taking a loss on the live stream, made a lot of it back. I went down like $100 yesterday. Walked away with a loss, stupid loss, but I was biased on Meta. Don't be biased. This lost at 384. This is cooking down. 490 now. Damn. This thing just ran 100% from my entry point. 225 to 510. This is why SPX is great. I knew that was going lower, but I was hesitant on that bounce. I didn't want to get bounced out. I've seen that happen a million times, so I won't be upset with my profits because I sold 360, but damn, it's $200 higher now. Hopefully somebody got that. Hopefully somebody got that. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Now it's at 540. I gotta stop watching this. Made our money, made our gains, made what I make, $300, $200 and some dollars while just sitting here. So cannot be that upset. Just off of two contracts too. It's crazy. You don't need a lot of money to make a lot of money in this game. It's the best. But quick stream. That's all I got. Any questions? I know there's not very many people on this. It's 12:57. Most people are done by now. But I'm in SPY tomorrow expiration to avoid some theta. Good shit. I would say probably take profits around this 383.40-ish mark, but most of its reign is basically done, so you're probably going to see this die off the rest of the day. If the Bollinger Bands start going flat, then it's over for the day. There's probably no other moves, unless we start catching real sellers and that pushes us down to that 380 level. The reason I say 380 is because Clear Drawing said this is the daily chart on the SPY. You're running down towards this level down here, the low, not too long ago. So could see 382 off this body, but at the bottom of this one's like 380.50. So those are the two lines I would be looking for. Now if I zoom in on the 5-minute, I push it down. There they are, 382 and 380. I don't know if we have enough momentum for that, but maybe. As you can see, SPX, this is why I take my profits, because as soon as it bounces, theta and volatility get you real hard. So that's my day, 657. These slow gains just keep rolling in. You do that every single day. You know, that's over, it's a shit ton of money. It's like $200K a year. So on top of other business ventures, I'll take that any day of the week. So I'm averaging about, I like to average anywhere from 500 to 1,000 a day. I had a massive week with Meta. So chalking in around like a close, I would say it's close to 20K a week right now, but had a small loss yesterday. Keep the losses small. When you see something, put some size behind it. And execution and risk management is everything. So if you need me, hit me up. Have any questions for me, hit me up. I got some stuff to do right here at 1 o'clock. Got a client call, but yeah, if you need me, I'm very responsive. But love you guys. Hopefully you caught that little drop there.